Hello and welcome to my channel. This is the Heavy Desert Runner from PhalanxPrintingUK. This is a 35mm scale vehicle and it's been printed in resin. It comes in 11 parts plus a broken handle which came off during shipping. As you can see here roughly what it will look like when it's assembled, and it will have a drill bit hanging off at the back, and also with this kit we get a sticker promoting the business, so check out Phalanx Print when you get a chance. Right, I'm going to start by assembling the two biggest parts. I'm using Gorilla Glue for the long term bond plus super glue for the short term, and with these two methods combined this should never ever come apart. I also reattached that broken handle with super glue. I can see that it didn't print correctly on one side, which led to it being weaker and breaking off. I slide into place what appears to be a laser attachment, and this is held in with friction alone. There's just a few little bits to clean up before I move on to the painting stage, and these are just a few hidden leftover supports from the printing stage. Now it makes sense to start painting this before it's fully assembled, so that way I can keep even coverage. So first I apply on the primer, but my turntable is only so big, so I'll do the additional parts first, followed by the main body. And I added on a couple of coats of yellow for that industrial look. And while I'm at it, I spray the wheel with some leftover black paint. Waste not, want not. And now I can move on to painting some of the individual detail on this vehicle, starting off by painting the windows black. So basically any part that looks replaceable gets a different coat of paint. So these can be bottles, pipes, hoses, wires. So all these little bits will add up and help make this vehicle more realistic. There will naturally be several metal components on the drill attachment, and this will include the cable as well as the cutting attachments. All I can do is take my time and build up all these layers, and then I can move on to the next stage, which involves chipping and weathering. There looks like to be 3 headlights at the front, so I'm painting all of them white, as I'm not skilled enough to try and make them light up. For the weathering I start by dropping on some black panel liner, and this stuff is brilliant for bringing out all the race detail, especially on things like grates or panels, especially as those areas are almost impossible to paint freehand. When I sprayed this yellow, certain areas got a little bit damaged, and I purposely didn't fix that so that I could have some silver chips on it. A large majority of this weathering will involve black or brown wash. The black represents general dirt and soot, while the brown represents mud and oil. As you can see, I'm using a cotton bud and a tissue to mop off the excess, and this leaves the majority of the gunk in the areas which are difficult to clean off. There are 2 parts of the wheel that need painting silver, and that's the trim or alloys at the front, as well as the hydraulics and suspension at the rear, and those need a bit of dirt and grime too. And then I move my attention to the drill itself, and this is a part which is expected to have more dirt on than anything else, so I'll keep building up the layers as well as the subtle colour changes. When it came to attaching the crane part, I used 2 different glues. I used Gorilla Glue for the long term bond, then super glue for the quick fix. Then it's just a matter of making sure it's correctly aligned before I leave it to set. Then I add on the brown wash onto all the wheels and other metallic parts, and this will help to dull down the silver and make it look like it's been out in the elements. I also added some of the brown wash to the drill bit, as well as to the lower part of the vehicle, considering that this is the part which has the most contact with the earth. To finish off the drill bit, I dry brush on some silver for the edges, and then glue it into place at the rear of the vehicle. And next I'm going to attach all 6 wheels, and I use the same combination as before with fast and slow setting glues. I've already lined up the wheels ready to put in place, so it's just a matter of putting them on, leaving them to set for a few minutes, flipping the vehicle over and doing the other side. As you can see, I'm fighting with gravity a little bit, hence the need for the fast acting glue. I cut off a couple of thin pieces of styrene because at the rear of the vehicle we have a couple of aerials with some slots in them. So I'm going to glue these, insert them into the slots and extend the aerials even further. I did contemplate leaving them white, but I caved in the end and painted them black to match the rest of the aerials. And now I can move on to the finishing touches. I decided that this behemoth needed a few more chips and scratches, plus I also painted some of the tiny nuts and bolts in silver. For the weathering powders I used two different colours, and I concentrated my efforts on the lower part of the vehicle. The lighter colour represents sand and dust, while the darker brown represents dried mud. And as you can see, those are going on mostly on and around the wheels. And because powders easily rub off, they need sealing in place, and I used my spray on matte varnish for that. And with that, that's the heavy desert runner vehicle completed. I picked this up because it fit with the aesthetics of the Aliens universe, and it should look good as some background scenery in my role-playing games. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if I can do it, so can you.